Right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I can't stay long. I wanted to talk a bit about the Texas school massacre. Um, that happened, it was a few weeks ago. I forget what I was doing that day. I looked back on my videos to see if see if I made a video, and I actually did not make a video that day. And I remember not, I can't remember if I wasn't feeling so hot that day or what was going on. Um, but I wanted to come and talk about, um, you know, the demonic purpose, pretty much, I know a lot of people when they hear about stuff like that, they always say, oh, that person was crazy. They were mentally ill. Yeah. Yeah. The guy that did all that shooting, that shot all those innocent children, was definitely mentally ill. But, spiritual illnesses come from mental illnesses come from spiritual illnesses. And I have been extremely busy for the past couple of weeks. And it's not to say that I'm too busy to think about things like that are happening in the world, but um, you know, it's the same thing that I've been saying for years, is that we are dealing with a great evil, a great enemy right now on this planet. I'm trying to think if a few weeks ago, because I know that they were holding a press conference about aliens and stuff like that in the past few weeks as well. So what I get the sense about it um is that it was child sacrifice, and the person that did it was like he was like an empty seater for something, that because who who would who would think to do something so deplorable to children, to walk into an elementary school. And then when we look at the name of the elementary school, the name of the elementary school is rob, or to take. So that's what, even though it's spelled with two B's, um, it was all about um blood sacrifice, is what that was all about. Um, and so I think that people are going to have to be extremely, extremely cautious, extremely, because from what I was hearing, um, that incident is not going to be the only incident of this happening. And normally when something like that happens, um, I get really sick. Like, I just start getting very sick. Um, I think that after you deal with so much negativity and crazy stuff and demonic stuff, your body, your mind, your spirit needs a rest. And I needed a rest. I did, because I have to remind myself I am not God. And to just, dissect every little thing right as it happens, it's just too much. Okay. And I've been having just these weird dreams. And I'm gonna start keeping a notepad by my bedside so that when I get up in the morning, I can write down these dreams. And so um, I'm gonna say what I've been saying. I think that a lot of people are safer in their homes. I do. I really do. And I think that if you can try to keep your babies at home, if you can. That's just crazy that this would happen right as all the kids are going back to school. It's like the worst thing that can happen right after the pandemic. Now, this. And I think it happened in another location as well. So you don't just watch your kids at school, you have to watch them everywhere, um, because it's considered to be child sacrifice. Whatever was behind that fed on that whole situation, fed on it. It was something very demonic that was there in that classroom. I have not looked at any of the photographs from it. From what I've been hearing is that while the shooting was going on, that the police didn't want to go in there. And so something extremely evil was happening at that moment. And I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe that it was random. It seemed like a very well thought out plan of child sacrifice, is what it seemed like to me. As a parent, you can't be okay with child sacrifice. You can't. You can't be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, because I believe that those parents they're gonna go through their grieving process, and then they're gonna get extremely angry. I think that is like chills are going up my thighs. That is the absolute worst imaginable thing that you could think to even go through, besides losing your husband or your parents. That's just horrible. It's heartbreaking. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I've been sort of disconnecting myself because I've been needing time to heal, because I have been through a lot the past several years. And then last year, losing my mother, still dealing with stuff, still dealing with the aftermath of all of that happening. And, but yeah, I did hear about it. And I can tell you that that's exactly what it was. That was not a random act of violence. It wasn't. It's not a random act of violence. And so, um, was 2019 students, elementary students, which it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter if they were elementary, high school, middle school, um, and then also the shooting in New York I think it was at the subway station. There was a shooting in New York, and it's just been shootings everywhere. And you know, the whole gun reform thing, I don't believe that that's going to help, because people, if they want to have access to a gun, they're going to get it. They're going to get it, even if it's illegally, they're going to get it, but so yeah, I'm thinking there's so much that I could say that I'm not gonna say. I'm not. Okay. But you know, I just don't believe that it was random. I don't believe that this guy was just kind of randomly, doing that. I think that it was a thought out plan. I think that it was um just some kind of immensely evil, diabolical act. And I don't even know what to say. Uh, so, you know, um, there was a whole bunch of school shootings that was happening several years ago, like about 10 years ago. And I don't care if people thought that I was crazy or not. I was being harassed about it, and not just with the YouTube trolling stuff, like I'm talking about in real life. Like I got into it with my mother about that. And we were living in a very safe community over in Lawrence, Kansas, but I just felt better about homeschooling my children. You know what I'm saying? I mean, stuff can definitely happen in the home. I'm pretty I feel very good about my angels and my deities that are protecting me, but I just think that if you can, which uh that's some crazy trauma. Do I think they should open that school back up? Nope. I think they need to shut it down. And see, I haven't read anything. Um, I would have to look at the school and look at areas around it because it could be the school itself. Whatever it was, it just, I wouldn't care if my kids was running around the house writing on the walls, driving me crazy. I would keep them at home. And I was saying that to people shortly before the pandemic hit, and because there is going to be more, and you just don't know if it's going to be your child's school. I'm not trying to instill fear into anybody. I am saying that it's not worth it. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't sit my 9-year old down for 9 hours per day and say, read this, write that, count that. And my son knows how to add, subtract, multiply. He just doesn't really know division, but he knows the concept of it. He can read, he can write, and he and so I think people need to think, hey Gaia, hey, yeah, I'm just saying, at least until this blows over and they because I swear to God is I would be angry. I wouldn't even be able to grieve. There would be no tears. It would just be anger. I would just be extremely angry about it. To the point where, first I think I would be in disbelief, and then I would be angry, and then I would be filled with rage. So, because how do you just walk in to an elementary school? How did he get into the school? what happened? Like, I wasn't even there. Like, as far as I'm not even in Texas, but I got questions. I got questions. And like when I first moved down here to Georgia, like the school that I was thinking about putting my older son in, they had a shootout in front of it. I said, nope, you stand at home. You stand at home. Nope, I'm not doing it, you know? And I was kind of in a rugged neighborhood. I was living in Decatur when I first moved down here to Georgia. So I was just like, huh. I was like, oh well. Like literally, literally, when you go back and look at the school nearby there, it was a shooting. Like people got shot outside of the school. So it's to me, it's not worth it. It's not, you know. And you know, I don't reach like a very large audience, but I do think that um something going on, y'all. Something wicked is going on. And I think that when just like when you think about it, when you actually grasp the concept of what is going on, like you're taking your child as young as the age of 5 years old. You know, 5 years old, that's a baby. That's still a baby to me. 5 years old is a baby. So and people don't actually consider. I think that they do. And I think that that's why many parents take the time, you know, to get into a decent neighborhood where they feel that there are decent schools. And you know what I'm saying? So, but when you think about it, like you're taking a 5, a 6 year old, like, and you're kind of leaving the child there, they're in the before and after school. And I know y'all got to work. Something gonna have to happen. Something gonna have to give, man, you know, because you just, mm. And I'm pretty sure that there, I wouldn't take monetary compensation. I would sit in a room in the dark all day and I wouldn't want to talk to nobody. And I'd just be like, I don't want no money. Sit me in a room. I think at that point I would literally go nuts. Like you had to be a really strong person because that is horrible. That's horrible. So, you know, my heart goes out to the parents that lost their children. My goodness, that is horrible. And then also the two teachers, there were two teachers that were killed as well. So, you know, my condolences to the family, to their families, to the children's families, you know, because that's just my goodness gracious. Yeah, I can tell you that it's very demonic. And I don't know why this whole it's like an obsession with this human and child sacrifice and trafficking and you know, yeah, I it's just it's unreal. Yeah. So I think that day on the I'm gonna try to think back on the 24th of what the heck I was doing. I may have posted something in the community tab. I'm not sure, but I know I didn't make any videos. But the next day, I did do that water sign reading, and I was terribly triggered by what I saw because I think that the reading that I did was for people that are going through trafficking, like and stuff like that. Like, so if you look at the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces reading, it is just like, oh my God, the that stalker reading that I did. Ugh. And that was on May 25th. This happened on May the 24th. So anyway, it just it's so unfortunate. And I think the shooter was like 18 years old. Like, what the heck was he doing with a gun? And it seemed like to me that he had like some kind of like like I think he had was it an automatic weapon or something? Goodness gracious. I never did like guns. I never liked guns. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. Sadly, they say that it's good to have a firearm in the house just in case you need it. I feel like God is my firearm, but you never know. Uh, Once I get out to the lake, out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Right? Who knows? It's real crazy. So, but what I could sense is something definitely demonic. I have been protecting my empathic abilities because during those times, unfortunately, there is a feeding frenzy that is happening during those times. And it kind of feels like it's eating your heart, like right out of your chest. It's just eating it. You know what I'm saying? So I do all kinds of stuff to protect my empathic abilities. Otherwise, stuff will hit me like a freaking freight train. And so yeah, that's why I probably seemed kind of and then plus I've been I'm a mom myself, and you never stop being a mom even when they become grown. I would never try to control their lives, once they leave the house, or either you know they're pretty much free to, I don't want them to go out and screw up in life, but you know what I'm saying. So but anyway, yeah, it's just very heartbreaking what we are dealing with as a society, especially when it comes to guns, because but I think guns are a reality, um because of possible wild animals. I saw a picture, or like it was like a picture an artist made, and it had like a big pile of firearms, and they were all set on fire, and it was like destroyed guns, and it's like, well, it's sort of like something that it's one of those necessary evils, unfortunately, because I mean, you just never know. You could walk outside your door and have a bear or a dog or something, and or so, but not that, because I don't carry a concealed weapon at all. I don't carry a weapon at all. Um, and so, but that's part of the reason why we have guns in the first place, is to protect us from nature. Then, you know, they can unfortunately be used to cause harm the way that it was. So yeah. Um, anyway, I don't want to say that I've become desensitized to it, but I am so sensitive that it'll just rip through me. And so I've learned to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's a bad feeling. It's a sick feeling that you get, but you know, I wish that I did have superhuman powers to that capacity, to where I could put on my cape and fly over to where people are crying out for help and just help them. I wish I was Superwoman, actually, but in reality, eh, you know, we're not Superwoman, so we can't, you know, save everybody. Okay, sweetie. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that real quick, and I'm not gonna do a reading on it. In fact, tomorrow I'll be back to do a celebrity reading, but because I just But what I can say, what I can tell you is what I can feel is that it was child sacrifice. And something, something tells me that those parents were not trying to sacrifice their children. So that was just like, so I don't know, like I don't agree with that. Like the state owns your children, like, when and that's why I'm very careful about certain states that I move to, because if you move to certain states, they can come and take your kids away from you if you don't take them to school. And so y'all ever hear about that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm like, I feel like that sovereignty thing. Like, I don't want my children being owned by the state. You know what I'm saying? And so while those children were in the temporary custody of that school, what the hell happened? Like, I think that my anger is not just on the shooter, but why in the hell was not enough being done to protect these children? Because I know that the schools back from, because my kids are grown, most of them except for my younger one, but they had locks on the doors. You weren't able to just walk in. So how did this person even get inside of the school to even do that? Like, it's just so bizarre. Anyway, try to keep your kiddos at home. Okay, getting a perfect attendance award is it's not worth it. Okay, it's not, because things and that the babies would be safe. You know what I'm saying? That way you know where they at, and you are more capable of protecting them. Unless somebody decides to be stupid enough to come to your house. But that's something that has been extremely popular for like the past 20 years for some reason. School shootings have become trendy. Y'all notice that it's almost become a trend where something crazy happens in the school. So, anyway, that's all I wanted to say, you guys. I am going to try to relax. If you ever feel that things that are happening in the world, because this is obviously something that you can't change which, unless you figure out some kind of way of time traveling and changing the whole thing. Which I wish that we had something like that to where we could just back up time and prevent happening. So anyway, try to listen to I know what helps me out is listening to heart healing frequencies, because it's truly heartbreaking. So some of the stuff that we are witnessing and hearing about in our society. Yeah, I know people who don't give a f how their kid feels once. They'll just drag them to school. That's why we have the shooters whose feelings have denied. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that I can't sit here and say that, um, I can't sit here and say that your kids are safe in the schools. I can't say it, and I ain't been able to say. I ain't been able to say. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could say that. I wish I could, but unfortunately, I can't. And if it's some kind of government conspiracy, then obviously they can get you in your home. But like I said, I think it's sadly some kind of trend. That's one of the reasons why I stay home a lot and work from home. That's one of the reasons, because you could be out anywhere and some crazy stuff go down. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for coming, Gaia. All right, love and light. Yeah. I'll see y'all later. Okay. Blessings, guys. Bye bye.